Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus SideZ Podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus SideZ Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Welcome to the Plus SideZ Podcast.
Hi, friends.
Yes. Hi, friends.
I'm jazzed.
Look at here. This
Just
is
jazzed.
an interesting day.
It's an exciting day. And
Indeed.
I did
Indeed.
make Kim and I worked out a little bit, so I got Kim's
did.
core a little bit sore.
Yeah, my core is sore. Ooh, core is sore. I like it. We did, because
I'm not
Kat and I
there.
do strength training now because I need to
Workout
get that's my
Wednesdays.
goal. So that's my goal. So yeah, we do workout Wednesdays. Then there's like a whole separate podcast for Kat that's exercise with Kat. So if you want to do strength training with Kat, she will do it.
I guess I got to make more content.
Yeah, you do. And then we do lives and we put it under that podcast so you can watch it later, which is fun. Welcome everybody. This is our first live in like a month because I started my new job and I needed to focus. So I was like, I gotta focus, and I have to say, you know how much I love what we do, but it is nice to have conversations that don't revolve around pharmaceuticals. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of agree. Yeah.
It's kind of nice. I have a nice break. So, and that and things that I like, which is cool. So now we're back. And so we have a few things going on in this particular episode, and I'm going to kind of introduce them and let you know what to expect. Okay. So, first things first, we are going to do the Barbie Stanley drawing. I have the thing here so we can do the unboxing, and everybody gets random. If y'all want to meet separately and figure out, like, trade each other Stanleys, y'all do that. Okay. But I ain't got no time for that. I love you, but I don't have time for that. So anybody that signed up for our newsletter has been put in the drawing, and we're going to do a spin, and you're going to win the Barbie Stanleys. That's the fun thing, but you got to stay around for this episode, and trust me, you're going to want to, because there's a lot of tea. Okay. So we're going to talk a lot about it. You're also going to hear things that have been going on in the news, and we will connect as a community and discuss it. So I want to hear from you and your thoughts, because as the podcast continues to grow, I get more opportunities to have important conversations with other people, and I want to represent our community as best I can. So if I do it just my lens, then I'm not doing it a good service. So that's why we have this here, the live, to connect with you, so that we're always talking. Okay. And I'm telling the best story that I can. Okay. The next thing outside of that, what's going on in the news, is we're going to hear about all the things from an advocacy perspective that Amanda has been working on with the GLP-1 Collective. It's very important. We need your help because we want more affordable access. And as we all know, the future of compound medications is becoming more uncertain. Like, it just is. And while the price of brand is now literally cut in half, it's still not inexpensive enough. And I think that there are a lot of people that are disconnected from what we see on TikTok and what we see on IG and what we see from Amanda's guest on her show. And because of that, we want to make sure that we bring all of those voices to light. Okay. And that is going to include the people who are on gray market medication. Okay. So the gray market, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I have been diving into that, and you're going to hear me say a lot of disclaimers it's going to get annoying. But I am doing that to protect the podcast and protect us. So because the podcast is a media company, we are also, journalists, right? So we report on things and news, and therefore we are doing sort of an investigative deep dive into the gray market. And I plan on respecting everyone that takes gray market, and so when I talk about it, I'm not going to be sharing vendors or anything like that. Okay. And I will explain the reasons behind that as I explain my research. But this is to shine a light on the gray market and for you to understand it better. Because if you have education and you know what to expect, right, then it puts you in a place of power, right? And because you'll have the knowledge to not get taken advantage of, or to not choose it at all, or to go different routes. And we want to provide that for anyone that struggles with the diseases that we do on this podcast, just so that you're aware. So just know this is not me endorsing it. Okay. It's not me condoning anything. And there will be lots of disclaimers. And we're going to talk about that today. And then we're going to end it with some Barbie Stanleys. Quick, we need fireworks. Is this fireworks or is this confetti? Confetti. All right. No, we need fireworks.
I thought fireworks
for our audio audience. No,
I thought fireworks was this.
Fireworks. No,
I thought this was fireworks.
No, you don't know, Mac. You droid person. You droid.
I'm on a Samsung.
All right. Anyway, that's what's going to happen today. You guys ready for some stuff? Okay. That's what we're going to do. We're so glad to have, yes, education. Hi, Michael. I saw your clips. I didn't have time to watch all of them, but I started watching them. They're good. We're going to look into it some more. Okay. Yes. Oh, hi, Jennifer from Nebraska.
Hey, Jennifer, Nebraska.
Love it. Oh, Nebraska. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Samsung not for the win. Sorry, Spoonie.
Sorry. I just want to learn. Yeah. No, I mean, I know deep down we all deserve treatment, and it's the Hunger Games out here. It is
a really great analogy right there.
Yeah. So we've got to talk about it, and I want to share what I'm learning, and we'll go from there. Okay.
But we are not sacrificing ourselves as tribute.
No.
We're still going to be here.
Let's not. We have a lot of work to do, so we're going to be very careful about what we do and what we say. Okay. Yes. Look, someone's saying, "Hey, Amanda." And Spoonie's here. We love that because we know Spoonie's been on not feeling super good, so we're so thankful to have you here with us.
A heart on your back,
Jessica.
And then Holly is here. Who else? Let's see. And Michael, of course. Yes. Fantastic. Love it. All right. We've got lots of people. I love it. Yeah, none of that. Exactly. Exactly. So we're going to start with what's in the news. And so we're going to have Amanda, but let's do her footage. Hold on. I got to go there. We need her special tea time. High tea with Amanda from the GLP-1 Collective. Hello.
High water.
We're so glad to have you here collaborating on our show. We love it.
Amanda's looking extra demure and spicy today.
Yeah.
No, get out of here.
Maybe it's the blue. It's great color on you.
Love it.
Does it look blue?
It looks blue.
My light is way too dark in here. I have 3 lights.
Actually,
it's still way too dark.
Oh, I have all those suggestions for lighting, I think, clearly.
Yeah, I have all the lights.
Yeah.
So are we talking advocacy updates or what's in the news?
So what's in the news for community discussions and then advocacy.
I think that the biggest thing for all of us is what's been going on with Mochi. And I think that we should talk about it. And I also, disclaimer, I have no affiliation with any telehealth companies. So I have no skin in this game. And I have no judgment either. And I am not saying that anything has officially happened because there is no actual court ruling. So right now it's all speculation. But it does look really ugly and it does look really bad for advocates who have been advocating for compound medications. So for those that don't know, Mochi Health was just sued, and by Big Pharma, of course. And a whole lot of stuff has been put on the table in their lawsuit, including that Dr. Myra is not a licensed physician, that she has a doctorate, that she is a doctor, but that she's not a doctor, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
a practicing
yes,
doctor.
yes.
Yeah.
And they believe that they have evidence that she has presented herself as a physician. On top of that, she said that she did not own Aquita Pharmacy, but it looks like her family does. So they were claiming no affiliation. Aquita just reopened, by the way, and it's looking very nice. So that's interesting. They're back in action. But yeah, the big thing is that there hasn't been a whole lot of transparency if this is true.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one other really ugly accusation that the medications that they've been prescribing are possibly research grade peptides and not actually the GLP-1s that you would get FDA approved or regulated.
Yeah.
So
it's in the news. It's a big deal. It affects our community. We have to discuss it. I think that the one thing I'll say, and I think we did lose Bear, but the one thing I'll say about it is that I don't believe she ever represented herself that way on Plus Side. She's been on Plus Sides a couple of times, and provided what we felt was a very good amount of value for our listeners. You know, she was one of the first doctors, and that we all heard when we started this community, that specifically was talking about how obesity is a disease and it's not our fault. And she lives in a small body. So a lot of us hearing that, it was very powerful and changed our lives. Yeah. And definitely did a lot to help grow our community. And I don't think any of that can be ignored. And I think sometimes you have to look at the whole of things. And I do think that ultimately, like, allegations are allegations, and those things all have to be proven in court. And, you know, I think that's where that part will belong, you know? But regardless, those things do shed a certain light, right, on the work that we are all trying to do as patients. And I don't like that, because then people don't trust compounding, or they don't trust any of those things. And it just kind of hurts that. And we need to get louder now more than ever, you know? So I think, like, in terms of, that's the only statement I really want to make about it from the podcast perspective. But it is something that's in the news, and it is something that happened. So want to make sure that we addressed it for sure. Yeah. What else you got?
Up next, there was a report released from PSM.
Oh wait, your mic's doing that thing. Like, Amanda, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Oh no. Hello?
Wait, I think
Can you hear me?
I can, but
Now we can.
Am I breaking up?
it was doing that thing again. Yeah. All right, try it now. I think you're okay.
Is it still scheduled?
Now it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is a nonprofit that released an article on PubMed saying that compounding medication was found to be less safe than name brand medication. And right away, I was like, where are the receipts? Let's see these receipts. It turns out that this article had 81,000 people who had called in to the FAERS hotline. That's FAERS. It's a hotline. You get a stomach ache, you have diarrhea, you don't feel well. You can call them and you can self-report. There's no follow-up. There's no proof. There's no idea other than word of mouth and what you're saying that it's even attached to the GLP-1. I mean, you could have eaten something else. You could have food poisoning, but these people didn't even go to the hospital. So this is 81,000 people over the course of several years from 2018. This should be ringing some bells, because compounding wasn't even around then.
Yeah.
From 2018 to 2024.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
707 of them were compound users.
Oh my gosh.
Did you hear me?
What
Did you hear me right?
fraction,
Did
a
you hear me right?
fraction.
So I'm like, how did they even come to this conclusion?
Yeah.
Well, apparently these specific people complained more than the average person in this 81,000 person pool. But then I was like, okay, are they sure it's compound too? I mean, it could be research, it could be gray. Are they sure it's compound?
Yeah.
Does it come from a wellness clinic? Is it a 503A or 503B compound pharmacy that prescribed it? No idea. They literally have no data because it's just a hotline where people call in and they say, hey, I'm on compound, or hey, I'm on brand name.
And they don't take into consideration, or do they, like the side effects in general for branded or compound, right?
The amount of
Nausea,
times I have
vomiting.
had diarrhea and
Right.
constipation with this medication, if I called the doctor every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Good Lord. That blows my mind. Like, how do you even get away with saying that kind of thing? Like
Oh, you
making
can
that kind
write
of
anything.
statement and not having anything with that to back up. Like, what? Like,
Because nobody
No.
checks them.
yeah, clearly. Well, we are checking.
Well, that's how come traditional media is, traditional news and those traditional reports are falling to the wayside because they don't do the checks like they should on a lot of stuff. Now, some stuff they do, of course, but not on everything. So
No, a
people
lot of
are,
stories you get through, like, what is it, like media source? It's both traditional and non-traditional. They would have a slant, but that is definitely
It's just
slant.
gross.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like,
okay,
what,
so-
Holly says
To
fact
me,
check.
fact check for real. I'm writing a newsletter on it and I'm trying to
Nice.
just call it out because
Are you on Substack?
it's like,
now? I didn't know if you said.
no,
check.
I only write on LinkedIn because that's where the policymakers and the healthcare providers are. They might be on Substack too. I don't know, but I have connected with a lot of them on LinkedIn and I'm meeting with a lot of them because of that. So I'm just trying to grow my base there and start having live interviews there so that we can truly make an impact where people who can actually make a difference can see it.
Yeah, for sure. Love it. How can we here at Plus Size, people at Plus Size, help you with that? Can we all follow you on LinkedIn? Will that help you?
Oh my
You can like go live and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm struggling so hard to go live on LinkedIn. The requirement is that your account is over 30 days old and that you have 150 followers. So I pushed out a video on TikTok and I was like, hey guys, help me get this 150 followers so that I can do live interviews and we can really make an impact there.
Yeah.
So next day I got 150 followers and I was like, yes, let's go. Tried to connect to LinkedIn.
Excellent.
Will not let me. I have tried so many times to request live streaming and they keep shooting it out. Like 24 hours later, they're like, you're not approved.
That's
like, come on. I don't know. How many followers do I have to have?
Well, let's all flood GLP-1 Collective, please, on LinkedIn and follow so that we can push it there because it's just like Amanda said, that is where there are people. That's where I get a lot of our doctors from now. When I have to find any, like, because most of them come to me now, which is fantastic. But like when we really need them, like, I can go there and find like great doctors, like, so we want to be where people are making the decisions. And Amanda's really pushing videos and wants to go live there and all the things. So something you could do today is just go to LinkedIn and type in GLP-1 Collective and follow, right? That would help to start. Okay. And engage with the content, please. Please.
Yeah, I would really.
I kind of want to scream there too, but I'm trying to figure out how to do that with my job. So I think I need to be there more than 30 days before I'm like, what, honey?
Amanda, I think I may have figured it out. If you said you have to have 150 followers.
No, GLP-1 Collective's nonprofit page does not, but the podcast page
does
under my name does. And honestly, the people that I'm trying to interview are, I would not want to have those interviews on the nonprofit page anyway.
Okay.
And then I would just be able to share the content to the nonprofit page when it's appropriate, if that makes sense.
What should we search for what should our people search for when they go to LinkedIn after this live?
I put it in the comments. It's
Great.
Amanda Bonello on LinkedIn.
Okay. And Amanda Bonello will take them directly to the nonprofit.
Should,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So and everybody can see this right now. We'll put, just send me a direct link to it and I'll put it in the show notes as well. So it's real easy for everybody to click on.
Bless you. Thank you so much.
We'll do that after. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Cool. All right. You got anything else?
News-wise, no. I just saw Dave push out a video that the manufacturers are partnering with some telehealth companies, including Rorow and Hims and Hers.
Yeah.
I have not actually dove into that. Does anyone here know what's going on with that? How much of the price is coming down?
Quite a bit. I know that, well, with Hims and Hers, it's not. But no. Unless you agree to sign with them for a really long time. So I won't go into detail about that. But with Rorow, it's about half the cost. So on average, and you can go to their site and see all the things, but with Rorow, it's you can get any dose of Wegovy and join Rorow. And as long as you use the insurance checker, you get a $50 off coupon. You start for $4.99. And it's any dose of brand Wegovy, which is pretty great considering, right? So you figure most people are probably paying between, I would say, $200 and $300 a month for compound semaglutide. On average, from FDA. Yes, we do live Rorow. Yeah. And which is great. And then Rorow offers the Zepbound vials, and they up to 10 milligrams because that's all they have right now, but that's even under $500. So having that, and then so you pay your telehealth fee, but it's nice that they have that entry fee, your monthly membership, but that membership includes a lot of really good tools to help you, and I think that's important. I think that we have a lot of people in our community, which we'll talk about further, that don't necessarily have a doctor looking after them or, on these meds. And I think that that's important. So if someone has a place they can go, it's still a very big gap compared to what compound costs. But I do think with the lawsuits and the shortages and all those different things, I'm not sure how long that's going to continue, at least at the scale that's needed to help the amount of people that we need to help. Right. That's my concern is because they don't want you to be doing things in mass. Probably should talk about that a little bit about.
It's going to be interesting to see when they start looking at that, how they rule on what is considered mass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's to me, that is the most interesting part of that nuance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree.
What are they going to consider mass? Is mass, if you're a nationwide, provider, is mass 100,000 people or is it 1,000 people?
There has to be some sort of definition in there somewhere.
Yeah, they're going to have to rule. It's going to have to get ruled on by somebody. I don't.
And then the time has come and gone where they're allowed to make exact copies. That time's over. But in terms of enforcement, I think what we've been seeing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, community, but in terms of enforcement, I've seen basically that they're saying FDA is not going to enforce right now, right? But in terms of suing people, Lilly can do that. Eli Lilly can do that. Novo Nordisk they can sue, right? I think that the issue with it being out of shortage, it's when it's in shortage, right? But right now, it's not showing that tirzepatide is. They're saying it's not in shortage. So I think there are still legalities and issues, and people are trying to decide if that's if they're willing to do that, because ultimately Lilly has, they're a $1 trillion company. They have millions and millions of dollars to be able to spend on suing people, right? They do. That's just, they have it. And do other companies have as much time to be buried in paperwork and in court and fighting long battles? Probably not, So I think that we'll just have to see, how that goes. But yeah, anyway. So I think what we will start seeing are more and more compound companies and offer compound will want to move or suggest you try compounded versions of the medications, like with other things. And I think they'll probably have to do something outside of B12 and B6. I don't think it's going to cut it because people can take that separately. It's just my opinion. I think that the customized doses, that is for sure something from when we had on the CEO of the Compound Pharmacy Alliance, or Alliance for Compound Pharmacy, which I always say wrong, Scott Bruner, where he was saying that's exactly where compound usually fits, right? Is you need a custom dose. And I will say, ultimately, we all take these doses because these are the ones that were studied. But I'm not going to lie, I would love something between 12.5 and 15. That would be fantastic. Yeah. 15 is a lot, and 12.5 is not quite just enough. So I would love to be able, I think that would be amazing.
Like 13.5.
13.5, baby. That sounds great.
So I was on 2.5 for 5 months.
5 months.
Stick it out as long as I could. And I did go up to 3, and then I shot it up to 5. But I did not want to deal with the side effects of just taking a big jump if I didn't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, and that's usually when the side effects come around, right? Is when you're making that change, if you get them at all. John never got them. Pissed me off.
No.
You never got them.
Nope. No side effects.
I didn't get a whole lot.
What I think they should do is it should be a 13.5, then a 14.5, then
15.5,
go up
17.5.
Yeah, like let's titrate all the way. Do it right. This isn't.
I think we can all agree,
blood pressure medicine. This is something very nuanced. I think. I think the doctors should have a wider.
There is a place for it. That's the thing, is there is a place for it. And then that's one of the reasons compound pharmacies have been around for so long, is for these kinds of things. I think the issue, right, is that they're wanting to move people from a regular formulation or regular dose to now the custom dose or custom formulation. And it's happening in mass, right? They're moving all their people because they want their people to continue to have access and care. And I don't think abandoning them is what we should say, because ultimately they're on compound because they can't afford brand, Exactly. And so, that's just what it comes down to. But it's interesting that these prices are dropping right about the time that we're hoping that everybody's hoping the lawsuit will come to an end or go to appeals or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Well, babe, I did want to let you know, because I looked it up real quick.
Yeah.
The FDA is enforcing the no compounding on these medications. They're not. Tirzepatide would go, they're enforcing it.
They sent out a letter saying they had no plans to enforce until the court case had ruled.
I thought the court case did. From my understanding, they're enforcing because it is as far as they're concerned, it's not in shortage anymore. So any direct copying of it is violation.
Yeah, if you go look, there's a letter from them. If you want to look it up, but there's a letter where they said that they had not planned to enforce anything until the date that's passed, which I cannot recall what it was, or when the case is decided. That's what we heard last, right?
It was the ACE. Yeah.
Is that not right? Tell me if it's not right.
I think Bear might be right
about
semaglutide. No, but that date's not passed yet, and they are still in court. Tirzepatide.
Yeah. Tirzepatide, I know, I'm double checking it. I'm on FDA's website.
But that gets struck down too. Sorry. And honestly, the news, every day there's something else. I have never seen news move so fast.
It's the craziest thing.
I have, but this is so close to me that it's just really, really wild to be fully experiencing and a part of.
Yeah, it's constant. How does Dave even keep up? Dave is our news correspondent as well.
Yeah, babe, they rejected
Dave's on here. Dave, were you on here?
Lost without him.
Babe, for the courts, and it looks like the FDA, in regards to semaglutide, they rejected the preliminary injunction motion, so they're enforcing.
Yeah, that is true. But what I'm saying is there was a letter that came out from FDA, specifically about tirzepatide.
Yeah, and I'm looking at tirzepatide on March 25th. Once again, the Supreme Court denied the plaintiff's preliminary injunction motion.
Yeah, I'm talking about something different.
May 22nd is the the last date for 503B pharmacies for semaglutide
Yes.
to be providing.
Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Like I could be. There's so much stuff.
all these
I
dates
just
on
I
your
remember
head
them
saying-
sending something out saying they had given the date and said like this date or the court case, like whatever one comes first. And maybe I'm just remembering that wrong. So that's okay.
No, you're right. I think
lot
for
of
tirzepatide,
dates,
the
so.
date passed and court ended. So at that
Did
point,
they decide the case?
It look,
Um,
it
they-
looks
not
like
I
in the
missed them
favor of-
deciding the case today.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Was it today? What?
No, remember they just had like it out and
Oh,
Jess and a couple
no.
other people went and they kept it closed doors.
So that was for semaglutide. That was Texas. So that
Well,
was
no,
Novo
so-
Nordisk. That was not
Tirzepatide?
Eli Lilly for
Oh my
tirzepatide.
God. How do I
Yeah,
know?
babe. So the
Most-
only two things that at this point that have been done
This is why I don't do the news.
on both of them, and tirzepatide and
Right.
semaglutide, they did it on March 5th, and then they did it on the 24th for semaglutide. But the only thing that's been done so far is they've rejected the preliminary injunction.
Yeah, I knew that.
So the compound basically the compound saying, hey, we still need to be able to to make these. This is in shortage.
Yeah.
The courts are saying, no, we don't believe you. Your request, denied. But it looks like they
Apparently,
have
that's the same thing they did with tirzepatide. I do know that. That was like the
Yeah,
course of
it's-
action.
Yeah, and I'm looking at FDA's website. I'm telling you, like, as far as everything they have in here,
Mhm.
it's not like they're going to go out there and crazily enforce it, but
Yeah.
they have not removed the enforcement of the regulations from something they may or may not do. So like the pharmacies, compound
Mhm.
pharmacies, play at your own peril based
Yeah.
off of what I'm reading.
Yeah.
It could still.
Yeah.
You could still be in jeopardy.
Yeah. I think it's a good point, which is going to lead us into our next thing after we finish. I know there was one piece of news Kat had that I thought was really good to share about a study that came out.
Yeah, it was a study that, remember, Bear, we brought it up a couple of times. And it was from Dave. It was from Dave. It was an agency, is it AOA or AOAN? The accessibility study. So they studied what we had been talking about, productivity at work, fewer sick days, all due to taking the GLP-1 because employers were hesitant to cover those medications because they're so expensive. But this study came out and it did show in the long run. This is like it's probably a short run if you think about it, like fewer sick days, fewer chronic illnesses, but basically it's showing it's saving the employers money in the long run. So just a small step forward. But I forget, I'm not going to turn it up while I'm looking at
texting Dave right now.
What do you do?
I'm going to ask him so that we can do it the right.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're at Dave?
I'm literally texting Dave. Keep going.
So, because I know that Bear and we had been talking about this a couple of months ago with a couple of doctors, the studies that were coming out, just to see, who, how it's going to affect employee productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I can definitely see it improving, like, just like the mood of the people who I know that are on it. I see differences, from the people who I know on a personal level before and after it. I can only imagine, what it, can be like for other people. So it's totally worthwhile. I mean, just from the mood standpoint and then the health standpoint,
Yeah.
It makes
And
total
that's
sense to cover it.
really, it's like short term for now, like the sick days or the days off work, health issues. It's going to clear things up.
It made the return to office so much better for me because I feel a million times better than I did 120 pounds ago.
I believe that.
Absolutely, Spoonie.
Look at the Spoonie. I'm way less bitchy now.
Because I'm not miserable. I get it. GLP-1 too. Oh, we'll get to that. I got some information on that, Michael. I'm sure you won't be surprised by when we get there. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a point that I think Dave's made too on his show recently, where he was like, we have a very sick country, right? And if anything, like and I know it's a big statement, but this is sometimes what we do to try to get attention. It's what politicians do too. But like, is it national security? Like, should we be making sure that our people have medicine to be the healthiest citizens that we can be, right? To contribute to the economy and all of the things? Like, yeah, or are other countries going to surpass us in health, for God's sakes? Like, like I think it's a good point. It's something to consider,
I don't think other countries will surpass us in health because I think regardless of anything, we are the largest market, and what becomes available, well, the newest stuff will always come here first.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else is as like singularly on their own is as big as the United States as far as the number of citizens.
Yeah.
Like as far as markets go for consumer goods, like leaving everything else out. Like if you sell something, you want to make the most money. Ideally, you want to put it in the United States. And we waste money more than anybody else, I think, honestly.
Telehelp to stock up. I mean, right? Absolutely. For sure people did. Yeah. We're definitely going to talk about that today too. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now all of this, like obviously shit show, right? Like, I mean, right? Like it is. So I think that we need to talk about how are we changing things at that bigger level. And so let's talk about what GLP-1 Collective is doing. Don't forget to go follow Amanda on LinkedIn, and then we'll go from there.
We just wrote a letter to the FDA, semi in response to the letter that was written by several other nonprofit organizations.
Oh, wow, that was rude. Wow.
Impressed with other countries. A lot of things.
I made you a panel.
It's beautiful. I think it might be a little bit too loud, actually.
All right, I'll change the music.
I was like, yay.
We were very excited for it. So
I was very excited about it.
I feel really hyped up now.
Warrior. Warrior.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so we talked about how the Obesity Action Coalition and about 19 other organizations and healthcare providers signed a letter to the FDA asking them to lock down compounding and like really strictly regulate and enforce against compounding for the sake of safety. In response to that, the GLP-1 Collective wrote their own letter to the FDA, but it wasn't just a letter.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I lost you.
We froze.
Samantha said it scared her. I read the.
Sorry, Samantha. Sorry. All right, Amanda will be back. I have a feeling she'll even come back. And in the meantime, we'll talk about how I scared Amanda.
Samantha.
All right.
No, turn down the volume, Kim. We're waiting for Amanda. She'll be back.
She's in a very sultry pose.
I know she really is. Ooh.
Well, she was going for the whole,
Yeah. Well,
thing.
it's the lighting. She's like, I have so many lights on. It's still dark. I have lighting suggestions to send her to help her. So we'll do that are inexpensive.
You know, I say do what I
yeah,
do.
why are you so dark? You don't have on your lighter.
No, I never have on my light.
Not you, bear. I know why you're a bear in a cave. I know why you're not like. What about you, Kat? Where's your light?
Me?
The light I got you. You're so dark in there. The big one. Do you have the big one on?
The big one's downstairs.
Uh-huh. I can tell.
The big one.
I want to get some shelves for back there so that you guys can
Who's
see
looking
my
around my
pops.
house? Freaking out. I'm sorry, Samantha. The whole drug market lacks transparency. I mean, I think it does in general. You're right, for sure. I think that so we'll go ahead and just talk while we're waiting for her to connect, because I'm sure it's like technical stuff. We'll just move into a few more things. So In terms of the news, I did send Tay a text because I think that we should understand, like, is it officially that they're coming down on them now? And should we officially not be seeing anybody making exact copies? Like, should everybody be making something with B12 or a different dose? I think we do need to know that. Hopefully we can clarify that while we're on the live, but Dave's a busy guy, so I don't know. He's our news guy. You got me for 15 more minutes. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we could do the spin while we wait for Amanda.
Let's do it, guys. We're gonna.
Okay, that's a good time. All right, we want to wait for Amanda because it's important. We have lots of very important things to discuss around what she's doing, gray market, lots of stuff. So I want to wait for her to have that discussion, which is what's next. So let's have some fun and Barbie spin. So we can do an unboxing and everything, and then we have two here of GLP-1. This say make GLP-1 affordable. We had them made when we went to DC. So those are extra. And then I have the unboxing. Kat, get the spinner. So if you signed up for our newsletter, and followed us here on YouTube, you got, oh my God.
Get the spinner.
I'm unboxing.
Get the spinner.
Amanda's back.
Then you're entered to win the draw. So we have lots of
this.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting okay, are we there? All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's little, but you'll see it when I run it.
Good Lord.
Get
this is
the
big
spinner.
Hold on. This is huge. Hold on, guys. You got to see this. Hold on. You got to see this.
You said it was huge.
I am so glad that you have this. I'm so sorry. My internet just went out for
how big this box is.
just a second.
It's like a whole thing.
Your internet took a coffee break. That is.
Hey, you're back.
I am. I'm so sorry. It was the most
exciting
exciting part for me.
We don't want to move on without you. Hold on. All right. So we are going to spin how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And then for the Barbies. So 8 times. Start spinning, Kat. And make
okay, I was waiting. All right, here we go. We'll spin the first. Yeah. Let's go. It's spinning.
All right. Whoever wins this one is getting the red one.
Karen Barbie.
All right. This is the Barbie Stanley you're getting. All right.
Okay, somebody going to write this down?
Put that name down.
Yeah, I'm gonna, on my little notepad.
Screenshot. This is the
I got something else. Notepad.
For Karen. Love it. All right.
Well, hold on a second. Babe, show it again. Oh no,
that's
never mind.
Dynamite Barbie. You mean to hold it up?
First off, what a perfect last name.
Right.
A Barbie Stanley.
Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. All right. So that's that one. All right. We can do the next spin.
All right. Let's do the next spin, friends.
The next one is going to get this one. Woo! All right. This is Superstar Barbie.
Jody Scott.
Jody Scott gets Superstar Barbie. The pink one with
Super
the
cool.
star.
Oh, I like that one.
It's cute, right? I know. I love it.
These look fancy and expensive.
Well, back when I was slaying on TikTok Shop, and I was like, I'll make the investment in our community.
Stanley.
Yes.
All right.
Next.
You ready for the next one?
Yep. Next one is this one, which is the Ken one.
Oh, hey, Ken.
Who wins Ken?
Gina Marie Root.
Gina Marie Root. Nice. Love it. All right. Everybody screenshot. Someone screenshotting this out?
I'm writing it. I'm jotting it all down.
Excellent. What do I do without you?
Thank you, Amanda. She's typing it down.
Legit don't know what I would do. Okay. Next.
Oh,
this one's cute.
And the classic one.
We are Barbies. We are Stanley affiliates, so we have like a code.
Yana Battle.
All right, this one is the 1959 Barbie Stanley.
Yeah, the classic, the original.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice. See the fun. All right, next. This is what I like when I'm influencing you guys on TikTok Shop and stuff. Ooh, I have this one. This is the peach one. This is just peachy Barbie.
She already won, so we're gonna do another drawing.
I guess you have to take her out, maybe. I don't
know. Maybe let's see.
It's cool. Just spin.
Yeah, it's gonna take too long. Here we go. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to look up
Jessica, but we don't know last name.
I'll find her email.
Okay, we'll find her
email. Hang on.
A Jessica won this, and we'll figure out which one based on
No, I'll find it. Let's see.
Okay.
Jessica. Okay, yeah, I have your email. It's Jessica. Jessica Linder. So it's Jessica Linder.
Linder. Oh, that's Bestie Jess. Yay, she's here. Right?
Are you here, Jessica? Jessica Linder?
Jessica Linder's here, I think.
Aren't you here, honey bunny?
If you're here, let us know. If not, okay, I gotta move on.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I have that one. Okay.
Yeah, this is the one I got you.
Let's go.
This is the Barbie Stanley regular pink one, like the classic one.
Meredith Van
Sickle. Yes. Nice. Oh, yeah, you can click remove, Cat. That's what you do.
Duh.
What
I mean, right there in my face.
We've been flying by the seat of our pants for 2 years.
I mean, that's what we do,
That's what we do. All right, next one is Twist and Turn Barbie Stanley.
What's the Twist and Turn? Oh, I like that one.
Cute.
Kim Ostenski.
Okay, awesome. Another Kim in the house is the one you get. All right, we know which one?
And then
Twist and Turn.
Remove.
All right, then we have one more. And then we'll do for the plus size one for extra.
My name is on that.
Your man.
I'm like, come on.
This is the Rockers.
Sally Erickson.
You get the Rockers, Barbie Stanley. Thank you
that.
for being a loyal plus sizer. We love it. All right.
I'm going to go
That
remove.
is all of the Barbie ones. And the box will go with the count. Now we have 2 plus size one. Let's get them. I had them made when we were going to go to DC and I didn't get here in time. All right, do a spin.
I want to see it.
I'm going to show you.
The plus size one.
It's got a logo.
Yes. Ooh.
And then it says make GLP-1.
Oh, it's
I feel
sexy.
like Amanda needs to win this one.
It is sexy.
Come on.
All right, here we go.
Right.
Let's go. I was one of the first people that signed up.
That's right. Ashley. I don't know if I know Ashley.
Bigger.
Awesome. Ashley, you want a plus size water bottle? All right, we got one more. They're nice, though. And then I got another one just like that. Which one? Who's next?
Can you stack them all up next to each other so we can see them all
All the
in
Barbie
their full
ones?
glory?
Good.
Yeah.
All right, Heather.
Heather Roth, you won a plus size one. See, some people
Nice.
consolation prize. Yes, I can. But
like the
it would
plus
have to
size.
be, I think, when we're on full screen again because you won't be able to see it good.
Oh, hold on.
Yay.
See what?
All right, cool.
Do we have any more
See,
to?
wasn't that fun?
There's lots of
that
fun.
was fun.
We're all done.
We're all
I
done.
believe
with
that's all of
All
them,
right.
Kat.
Got
We were
everybody
finally
locked
complete.
in.
I've been planning this for like 4 months.
I mean,
It took 5
okay.
minutes. All right, ready? Bigger screen. This is the twist and turn one. Can you see
We
it?
are
Is
the
it right?
women of our word. We need.
Oh,
How about-
okay.
Hold on. There we go.
What are you doing? Oh, you're making me big?
Trying
Yeah.
to.
You got
Trying
to.
to. It is not accepting you.
Oh, no. It's not
There we go.
I've never been accepted. So
I
silly.
mean, you
Here's
drive me crazy. So
All right. And twist and turn. I don't know why it's blurry. Blurs out the
If you-
words.
You're putting it so close, baby.
Oh,
Pull back.
no,
Twist
look,
and
it's
turn.
blurrier.
Yeah.
You
looks
have
like
that
you-
filter on?
Why? It's
Maybe.
it's the portrait filter. So it's making your face the only thing not kind of blurry.
You're right.
You look
I have that on.
fabulous.
It's
Oh,
your
maybe I'll get
filter
active.
settings.
Let's do it that way.
Oh,
It's-
no.
You're so no. It's your filter
Mm.
settings on your StreamYard.
Oh, okay. I have filter settings.
Or you
Okay.
probably have your filter set up.
Settings. I don't even have touch-up appearance on, friends. This is just what I look like. Let's do that though, since we're here. See,
And let's figure out.
this is Kim touched up. She's cute, isn't it?
You're so funny.
Nobody can ever say I'm not gorgeous. You just saw the raw me. Kidding. But look. All right. So I guess we can't see it. Good. That sucks. All right. I'll make a video.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do that. It'll be cute. Cause I do influencing, you know. That'll be cute. All right. Who I got a message from Dap. Or Dap. Dave Knapp is Dap. He says, who is the source? I don't know. I think he doesn't understand what I'm asking. No source. We just don't know.
What was the question?
I like that, Samantha. She said, don't you love how we don't know how to work any technology? We pretend to get through life, you know?
Yes. Okay.
Y'all,
All right.
Stanley has a
Let's-
64-ounce jug
let's-
now with a
Oh,
straw.
wow.
Let's
I know.
move on to back to Amanda, would you?
What, Ben?
That's a
Let's move
bucket.
back to Amanda. And clearly, my natural beauty. Dear God, this filter. This is what I should look like all the time. This is 30-year-old Kim.
I agree.
If you guys ever see me and I look like this, you know, I got a filter.
It's really good. I cannot tell.
It's
I can't
really
tell. You just look fantastic.
I guess so. That's what it is. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
Right.
So the letter to the FDA,
Yes,
we
letter to the FDA.
wrote one in response.
Okay.
And like I said, it was, I don't know how much you guys heard, 16 pages. Our letter was 16 pages long
Nice.
with 4 appendixes. One of them, I'm not playing. This FDA best be listening. I am not playing around. So I sent them the full list of 380 plus comments from the petition itself. People saying, like, help us, FDA, what the heck?
Yeah.
I sent them the full list of signatures on the petition, which is almost 27,000. I sent them a chart that I manually created to show the historical precedents of the FDA acting when affordable options weren't on the table.
Yeah.
So in the case of McKenna, allowing compounding just for the sake of affordability. In the case of the EpiPen, allowing or fast tracking generics for the sake of affordability. And I quoted them in it as well. Like the FDA saying it's unacceptable to have a monopoly on any medication and that there needs to be an affordable option. The smoking cessation and birth control, both of those, the FDA worked with HHS and CMS to push for the Affordable Care Act to cover it. They pushed for healthcare coverage because we needed an affordable option. But they're not going to help people with obesity.
Yeah, fat people don't.
When
matter.
smoking leads to one of the leading causes of death.
Yeah.
Obesity leads to several
Yes.
of the leading causes of death in the United States. There is no excuse. And I demanded a meeting with the FDA in 30 days. They have not responded. They better be reading that freaking letter. They better be
They're
reading
probably
it real
still
close.
reading it.
So, this is the 3rd letter I've written to the FDA. The first
Nice.
2, they got back to me like
I'm
same
impressed.
day, super fast.
Really?
And basically just told me to kick rocks. go email the general helpline and kick rocks, basically.
Yeah.
This 3rd letter, I have not had a response. And
Wow.
it was so long and so detailed that I made a video to go with it, because I knew that the average person would not want to read 16 pages.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them. I put my heart into it, but I
Send them
can't
another
blame
letter
them.
with that one attached that says TDLR, too long, didn't read. Fucking fix it.
I made a video of myself just reading the letter.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
put my heart and soul into that too. It's 15 minutes long. I could not get it any shorter.
A minute per page. That's pretty good.
I hope that
Well done,
the
Amanda.
FDA sees it. I hope that anyone sees it, honestly, because it's all so true. The FDA has acted in the past, and they are not acting now, and they are pushing people away from safer. I mean, if they're concerned about compound medication, there are other options.
Yep.
Like I said, fast tracking generics, pushing for insurance coverage, and they have also in the past pressured manufacturers to bring down the prices of their brand name medications. There is no excuse. So all of that, if they're so worried about compounding, there are other options. But my thing is, right now, I don't think that the world knows, healthcare providers know, that policymakers even know how widespread the movement to the gray market and research peptides has become.
Yes.
They have no idea.
No.
And it's very important to me that I am working as hard as I can to try to express how important it is that we get affordable access, because people shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to. It's not right that people have to literally leave the country or send their children. There was this woman who is well off and still couldn't afford the brand name pricing.
Yeah.
Her son goes on a trip to Europe every 3 months and brings back a case full of Ozempic. Like,
oh my gosh.
You shouldn't have to fly out of the country or like do any back end internet sleuthing to get your medication that your doctor is prescribing to prevent you from dying and early death and living miserably. Yes, the letter is on LinkedIn.
It's on LinkedIn.
That's where I'm posting all of our big newsletters.
LinkedIn.
I love it. I'll go and repost it too.
Fantastic. Yeah, I hope that you guys
pretty big
enjoy. I hope that you read it. And if it's too long to read, I hope you watch the video. People need to be informed. There's just no excuse. The FDA needs to act. And so
absolutely.
I called them out and I said, hey guys, really professionally, you're taking away safer alternatives by scaring people and shutting them down. Wouldn't you rather have people have state regulated options and FDA regulated options? It might not be FDA approved, but from 503Bs, it is FDA regulated. Wouldn't they rather have that than pushing people literally out of the country to completely unregulated channels?
Yeah.
It's just, there's nothing right about it. It's absolutely morally unjust. It's corrupt.
And the thoughts that's springing through in the back of my mind is like, it's on one hand, yes, like I'm ready to go out and fight, but then there's always the apathy in my head, because I'm thinking, well, people go to Mexico to get bariatric surgery. People go to India to get surgeries less expensive than here in the States, because healthcare is in the trash can. The way we pay for it, but we gotta hope. You know, like we gotta.
Actually, that's what I told the Wired.
I think that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, but what Kat was saying, like about the hope. Ultimately, the 2 years of us squawking, right, without a lot of formation, you know, and not in a collective or anything like it's more just like all of us kind of just being like, you know, and the price has gone down by half. Right. So not letting this go quiet, I think is a big piece of this.
The big key.
And not just not go quiet on Plus SideZ Podcast or on the Pen or Downsize or anything like that, but on all the platforms and all of the comments. Like, I think that a lot of people don't understand, every time you comment and you support creators' contents, like and the plus sides and everything, right? You're moving the stuff. Like, that's the movement, right? Is moving the message. If you don't do any of that, then it doesn't go anywhere. you know? So I think it's a big deal that we've done a lot in a very short amount of time. And we were the side of TikTok 2
True
years
indeed.
ago that everybody was following, right? And nobody wanted to admit that they were following. And then this year they're talking about compound on the fucking Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting really far, and it's not going to happen any faster if we're quiet. We have to be loud, if not louder. We need more voices than ever, you know?
Agreed.
We really
We
do.
need to coordinate.
We need to coordinate.
There are so many strong advocates spread out.
Yes.
And if we could just all come together, it would be so much stronger.
I agree.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, I love it. So we want to help Amanda with all of her efforts. Do you have other things to share? I feel like you do.
Yes. I mean, oh my
Like
God.
iMac and all the things.
Literally so much. I am so
everything.
busy
This
every
is
day.
your
I can
segment.
barely
I
eat
made
and
you a
sleep and
panel.
or walk my dog. I have no time. I met with Wired today, Wired News, and I told them the same thing. People leave the country to get surgeries too. And this is, honestly, it's no different. They did ask me to connect them with a community member who is using research peptides just so that they could get an anonymous interview, because they're trying to interview a person from every avenue, people who have had to stockpile, who have just lost access in general, people who have gone gray, people who have used research peptides, because they're trying to expose how unacceptable the lack of affordable access is, and how cutting compound off is just even worse than just letting us have it.
It's diabolical.
Yeah. So I'm looking for one person who would be willing to share that story anonymously, of course, with the Wired.
Yeah.
But yeah, my hope is that I will someday be able to stream on LinkedIn so that I can interview people who are in those spaces, who are absolutely struggling, who have been pushed to the gray web, to research peptides, because that's the only option that they have.
Yes.
I truly do not believe that the healthcare providers know the scale of the amount of people
that are
who have moved to it because they don't have another choice.
Yes. Absolutely.
They need to know.
Like, for sure. I mean, I think that, you know, I've been diving into this a lot about this. There are more than 20 peptide sellers online. Wow. I bet there's even more than that. Like, it's become such an issue. And I want to be clear, like, what I have experienced since I put out my first video about this, where I was like, I know this is happening. Like, I want to understand it, because I think you've been forced to be in a situation where you have to make this choice. You feel like every day matters, right? Like, and I want to know what's up. And I haven't been able to find anybody with like credentials that's really willing to come forward until today, literally before this live, and talk about what's going on. Because I think that we deserve to know, just like we did when Compound was out, because when we made that Compound episode, guys, nobody was talking about Compound out loud for GLP-1s. Like, nobody was like, and then we were like, I put a note out to the doctors and I was like, we've got to talk about this. You can't just let us suffer. Because it's important, and you're an obesity specialist, and you know that you know. So we need you to help us. And they did, Dr. Myra was one of those doctors.
He was. And
Dr. Rosen. And then we also had a PharmD compound from
Mochi.
Yeah. And we had them come on and explain to us what it is and what it's not, so that people could make the best decisions. And the podcast has continued to have educational episodes to be able to help people feel empowered to make those choices. And I feel a sense of responsibility to continue that. And I was so surprised at how supportive and thankful the gray market community has been to me inquiring. But what I will say is we need to read our disclaimer and discuss our disclaimer before I say any more. Okay. So as I mentioned in the beginning, Plus SideZ is a media company. And so we do investigative journalism for sure. And that for sure is what this is, right? I have been treated so well by people that are in the gray market. Nobody was telling me to go away. If anything, people were so thankful and grateful that we were raising this as an issue. And I want to respect their rules when I speak. And I also want to make sure that I protect us, because we have a lot of work to do and we need to move forward. So I will not be sharing vendor names or anything like that on the podcast. That will not happen. They don't want that, and I can't do that. And the goal is to make sure that you're aware this is not something that I myself, Plus SideZ, or any way is condoning in any way. But I do feel that you deserve to have as much as I can possibly collect for you. And that's what I want. And on top of that, if anything, I feel like the gray market, people who are taking gray market, I'm calling them gray market community right now because I don't even know. I feel like they deserve something. Like, they're GLP-1 community, right? Like they're like us. They struggle with the same diseases and disorders. They can't afford their medication for whatever reason. They couldn't afford compound. And so this is what they've decided to do. Right. So we want to talk a little bit about what it is, what it's not, where it's coming from. I'll tell you what I have found out from them. And it's early days. And then I'm also going to have people on with credentials, right, that will help us. So I put a video out, and Dr. Mo, who's been on the podcast before, who is an obesity specialist, has agreed to come on and discuss it. So and she's like, I'm not condoning it either. Like, you have to be very clear about that, because like these pharma companies, tons of money,
got to.
Right? We have to. The first thing they do, if we're saying this is the thing to do, right? And I can't do that. So what I want you to do is just know everything that's available, right? And what I mean by that available is like better options out there and how it kind of works, right? And what it is. Like, try to give you as much information I can on what it actually is and how it is different and how it is the same. And that's what I hope to discuss now. And then on future episodes, we are also going to have episodes about peptides in general. Lots of people are interested in peptides and the different things they can do for your body. I am. I think that we should know about, again, what they are, what they're not, how they're different. Why is Eli Lilly able to patent this peptide and not others? I think there's a lot of legalities and things that are going on that we need to understand as well. So I'm going to be digging into that this coming season, in season 5, which is right around the corner. And we'll be having episodes about it. And but I have to make it really clear and make sure that I read our disclaimer, which of course is at the bottom, but I am going to read it because we need to make sure we were clear about this. Okay. The information gathered and shared regarding the gray market for GLP-1 medications is intended solely for educational and research purposes. It is not an endorsement, encouragement, or recommendation to obtain the use of medications from unregulated or unauthorized sources. Always consult a licensed healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, etc. Okay? We have now said the thing. All right, here's what I'm finding out. And I know Amanda has had some experience in this area too, because the people that are using gray market have been very open and kind with her as well, So ultimately, it seems like there's a couple different avenues, right? So there's the first avenue, and I'll know more about specific names and what they're called and how they're branded when we have our episode. The first avenue is being able to get it from a lab here in the States where they make it. So they're not getting it from any other manufacturer from overseas. They make it here. And then they third-party test it, and they provide you a certificate of authenticity, which I can't remember what it's called. It's a
CO something. It was COL, I think is what they said.
COA maybe, certificate of authenticity or authenticity. So they provide a certificate. And what that means is that they have had it third-party tested, and that they have given them back whatever percent of purity, right? So they're saying we've compared this against tirzepatide, and this is what it is. And so they show that, and they have a number, and you can track it back and all the things as well. Now this is for the ones that are here. Those prices, from what I've seen so far, are not that much of a difference from what compound pharmacies are charging. And I don't know if maybe that's the kind of labs that compound pharmacies are getting the compounded medication from. I haven't been able to figure that out yet. So that's what I got questions out and trying to figure out next. Mm-hmm. There we go.
COA,
of analysis. Thank you so much. Hi, Parrot Head. It's good to have you here. And so that's important. Yes. Yeah. Gray is generic, but also research is different. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So we should talk about that too. Yeah.
Well, so if I could just chime in just real quick, sweetie.
Okay.
Michael, one thing I wanted to say in regards to that. So some of the people that Kim was talking to and I was kind of involved in the conversation with, they actually said it a little bit differently, that Gray is actually buying from, and keep in mind, I'm not trying to like correct you, like I know more, I'm just saying like off the information that we heard, Gray comes into buying from like China or India.
Yeah.
That is more along the lines of buying
yeah, she was calling what we're
Gray,
talking about is like domestic, and then she was saying that Gray is like that.
Yeah, Gray is out of the country, and then the domestic is kind of like what Kim was just talking about. And I think, sweetie, the other thing to add to what you just said about that was a lot of the times what they'll do is they do the batch testing themselves, I think. A lot of them do. But some of them also, you'll get into something where a whole bunch of people together will buy vials, and like you buy 10 of them, but they send one of them away for the testing too, for like when you get that mass quantity of it. Because I'm guessing, kind of based off of the information that we heard, that maybe when they do that, when you buy that bulk amount, maybe that's a separate thing that they make all at one time.
Yeah.
And that maybe how come they do that separately. But I just wanted to add that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's like sort of two different ways, right? So that's like the first vein is the one that I'm talking about. And the prices are not that drastically different from what I'm seeing from telehealths that are selling compound, right? And then there is, and those aren't compounded with anything. It's just the medicine, but you do mix it yourself. Like that's one thing to consider. So like you get something that looks almost like a tablet, and then you get backwater, BAC. And that's sort of like a type of water. I wish I could, y'all let me know, because this is all fresh and learning.
There's
you mix those together.
Alcohol in it.
Yeah, it's like
alcohol in it. Okay.
It's like bacteria free.
So it turns the solid
static water. It keeps it from going bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you mix it with,
and that's when it has like a sell by date, right? Once you mix that water. Yeah. So like a lot of times, because people have been saying in terms of buying compound, it's already mixed. They're getting it in a vial. So there's an expiration date on that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but when you're getting it in this tablet form, there isn't necessarily an expiration date. I'm sure there is somewhere, but and y'all let me know. So that a lot of times people, because they've been bulk buying it already made. And a lot of people have been saying, yeah, but that won't last, right? But people who are buying from gray market are like, but it will last because I haven't mixed it with the backwater.
Hey, PMAC.
Thank you, PMAC. Right. So that's just like something to think about. So that's the type of water. Thank you, PMAC. And then we had Parrot Head said something. Most research peptide companies domestically come from China. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. They're third party test and white label and then resell. Yes, very few have their own labs. That's very interesting. So that's sort of what I'm describing. I think what Parrot Head is saying is the minority of what we're discussing, right? Yes. And how am I saying it's back? I don't think I can pronounce that.
Bacteriostatic.
Bacteriostatic. Okay.
Bacteriostatic.
It helps to preserve and prevent bacteria and growth. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
They said that much more gracefully than I did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Telehealth would do
lyophilized. Yeah.
But people can handle
it.
People can't handle it.
Tell us what that is, Michael. We would love to know. This is meant to be educational, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then and so then people can have that. So sometimes people buy that like monthly, right? But then they have this other thing. So what people will do is they will come together and they will all buy a bunch of, let's just say TERS, for example, okay, from overseas, right? And they will send that, they'll buy it all together, and then they'll kind of sacrifice one of those vials, send that to a third-party testing company that then they will measure it and say if it is good or not, because it costs like $300 to have someone do that. So they share the cost of it. So they share the cost of buying in bulk, and then they share the cost of testing. And then when they know that it's good, they divided that batch, because that's what you're going on, right? Then they divide it out amongst them. And so it's a lot cheaper there. So some people can spend $500 and have enough medicine for a year. I mean, that's what we're like, that's the kind of numbers I'm seeing, you know, they're not
Wow.
100 a month, you know, they're like 500 a year, you know, for depending on like what dose and what you're looking for. And so it's like, that's so vastly different. And if you think about it, like we were also thinking, well, when we talk about these things that are happening, we need to talk about what are the risks, right? And how are people trying to either get around them or having it be an acceptable risk, right? That's
Right.
people are trying to decide like what I know I work in risk management, but like what's acceptable to me, right?
Yeah.
And it could be that I think what we need to think about too is like when it comes to this, I do think that it's like very organized for the like groups. Now they won't talk about it like in chat and in comments and stuff like that. Everybody DMs and does things away. And they have apps that they use, which I won't publicly talk about, that they use to communicate, and like forums and areas that they connect as a community to be able to do this. And they, you know, I think are trying to make the decisions together, like, cause that's where they've been put, right? That's where they feel they've been put to make this choice, because every day matters. Every hour counts with your family. So they will do this together. And then I think that we have to understand too, like, it's very easy to create things, right, that look like certificates. It really is these days with all the tools that are available. So being able to, I think, find a way to track that back. Also, like, do we know if any of these people have relationships with, you know, these companies overseas to where they would, I don't know, fudge any of this? I don't know. I think that's something to think about and consider. That they would say that it's good, then it's not. The creators that want to help others are definitely trying to help them without making recommendations for vendors, because two reasons. I think one, they want to keep the vendors that are good safe, right, so that they can get their medicine, and then also because they don't want to be held accountable if someone does make this choice and choose this option, and then, you know, they go and get ill for some reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like mixing it up at home and all of those different things. John, I see your message. I see it. Mixing it up at home and all those different things. Like there's a certain amount of things around sterility. Like how are we feeling about that? People knowing how to add water, all those different things. Like, is there somebody guiding them? Another concern is somebody helping them with dosing and side effects? Like, do they have a doctor looking out for them? I think that's something to consider. We see it so often, like on TikTok, we didn't have, you know, anybody really helping us with side effects, or we were afraid to tell our doctors because we thought they would take us off the medicine, and we felt like this was the last thing because we had tried everything. So that's kind of how this community really started to form, you know, and why the lives are like they are. And I just think that's like important to consider. You guys know I'm really trying to choose my words very carefully. Okay. So
the most important thing to remember with all of this, that she's kind of leaving out, is when people do this, the most important thing to remember is you're reconstituting
Oh, we lost John.
this yourself at home. And
Yeah.
here's the most important thing to remember. When we had, am I back now?
You're back now. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Not to be still.
Yeah, you're doing this at home, folks. And when you do this at home, everything that's at your home has the potential to be involved in that. You're not mixing this in a sterile environment. And keep in mind, it may not matter as far as the potency of it if it's mixed in a sterile environment, because I know that plays a factor in different things. But it's the fact that you're going to inject this directly into your bloodstream. Whatever it is that you create, it gets directly in there. It doesn't go through any filters initially, which it kind of goes through when you swallow it. When you take a pill, it goes through some stuff before it hits your bloodstream. When you inject it in your system, it doesn't work that way. That's the scariest thing to me of the whole situation.
I think it's important to talk about the risks For
yeah,
sure.
that's what we want
I've
to talk about.
definitely seen a couple instances where the medication that came from China was confiscated
Yeah.
by what are they called? What are they called? The people that check your stuff when it comes back over.
Customs.
Customs
Thank you.
agents.
Yes, customs agents have taken some medication, and those people don't get it. So whatever $500 they were spending for the year is gone. I don't know that it gets linked back to the person who buys it, but it's going to them. So I assume that their address would be on record, which is scary.
Yeah.
Well, one thing. Oh, sorry, Amanda.
That's okay. Go ahead.
One thing I did learn, because I looked it up when we were talking about this, and it's kind of a fitting name that they call it gray market, because what I read is, like, legally speaking, this whole thing is very gray.
Yeah.
Like, there's actually no law per se that you yourself can't go out there and buy a research grade peptide of any kind and take it yourself.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be, from what I was able to find during a quick research, there didn't seem to be any hard line out there about it. So it seems
True.
very, like, wishy-washy in the form of, like, how much of our concerns are valid concerns
Interesting, Michael.
as far as the legality of it and whether or not it's safe, and how much of it is we're conditioned to think that there's a problem and that it's illegal because it's not necessarily the way that we always do it.
Yeah. And Michael was saying that what you're getting is like it's been freeze dried. Like, and he had sent me a link to a video on YouTube that was sort of showing that scientific process of like how it's happening to make it to where you could store it. Right, Michael? Parrot head.
Some of
the thing is, some of the pharmacies have proven to be following standard processing.
Substandard, yeah.
Substandard, yes. The risk is there. Using compound as well, yes. Everyone's risk level and tolerance is different. Very true. And I think that's true, right? It's about what's considered an acceptable risk for people, and that's what they're trying to decide, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important they like kind of know about those other things. I think it's good. Yes.
Yeah. And I think
will say too, as far as other risks are concerned, there have definitely been people who have misdosed because they're mixing it themselves and they don't really know what they're doing. I've seen some people get really, really injured and end up in the hospital.
And it's not necessarily
way too much accidentally.
Yeah.
No, it's because they accidentally mixed it wrong and they just took way too much, and then that can kill you. If you take way too much, that can kill you.
I have seen guides, like reconstituting guides and guides to gray market and things like that out there. I've seen people make videos and have accounts where they're guiding people through this. I've seen people have YouTube channels where they're guiding people through this. Is so massive. And all I had to do was say in a video, gray market. And it was flooded, which tells me, because TikTok is a search engine, that's what people are searching for.
Yeah.
Right. And all I was doing was saying, guys, like, I feel like that nobody should have to do this, but I will tell you, there are people in the gray community. That's what I'm going to call them for now, because I don't know what to call them. I don't know what they call them. I will call them by what they call themselves. But in the gray market community that feel that this is the best thing they've ever done, that it is, they would never go a different route, that this is the most affordable, that that's the safest, they've had nothing but amazing experiences, and they'd never go another way. I've seen a creator that said, I kind of gotten a little happy with my group, and I got like enough tirzepatide to survive the apocalypse, which I thought was hilarious. But I thought it was interesting. And she was like, is this because like I took this back in the days with the OG savings card? And I was like, I mean, honestly, like we have some trauma around all that stuff. Like, you know,
what we had to do. Yeah.
Like the shortages and everything, like people,
the scarcity is,
wellness. Like you give people, like you give people health, right? And it's not like we're on YouTube, so I can say it. It's not like when you give someone. God, I'm so careful about it. crack and like say get high and then you want to come back to me for more, right? Like it's not like that. You gave
There we go again, Nino.
their lives back and then went, it's 6 months, can't use that savings card anymore, and that was some trash. Like, you know,
That
like
was-
and
that's pretty
it's
terrible.
not, you change people's lives and then went
And yank it away.
it's gonna cost $1,200. Like, you know, like that's the thing, and most people can afford that. Most people can afford $500, you know. So I can understand why other people would want to know other options, you know. And that's what's happening. And it's, I, if anything, at this point, I feel like people are probably fed up with the compound thing and are just searching for it. I've seen people that have followed me for years in my comments, DMing people, begging them to show them. And people won't. They will only give you breadcrumbs, and you have to figure it out yourself, because nobody wants to be responsible or accountable if things go wrong, because they do. They do. They do.
Well,
go
I mean, and I think the other thing too is
different.
you know, based off of kind of the conversations that I've had with you, baby, and that I've heard you with other people, I think the other part of it is kind of like Parrothead had said, you know, everybody's tolerance is different,
Risk tolerance.
and you need to, I think, if this is a route you think about, it is something you need to research.
Yeah.
You need to do the legwork all the way through it to really know, hey, is this a threshold I'm willing to go to?
Yeah.
I think if the information's handed to you, I think people
Yeah.
would be more
For
apt
sure.
to easily make that decision. But if you have to work for it and look at it and realize and see everything in front of you, all the good and all the bad,
Yeah.
then you really make a decision that's your own
Yeah.
and you're the most comfortable with.
Yeah. And I think that's a really other good lens to consider it, Bear, right? Like it's these,
Yeah.
and I will tell you that most of the people I've come across, and I'm sure that there's a spectrum, right, have said, this is where you go figure it out, right? Like that's what I have found. The trauma for me goes back when they threatened to take compound away in mid 2023. Yes.
Yeah.
And I went gray for that reason. Yeah. And for financial reasons. And I decided I wouldn't let them decide my fate. Yes. Like trying to take your power back. Like I totally understand why people would feel that way. Parrothead, for sure. People need to be honest with themselves about how educated they are as well. Yeah. If you know you aren't well versed enough to do this, admit that to yourself. Yes. And make the decision that's safest for you. I think that's a really, really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is a great point.
And PMAX says, I think the important thing is that regardless of the topic, we have to remain respectful for them. Yes, making the decision that is right for them. Yeah. And I'll be straight up honest with you. Like I'm not going to lie to you guys. You guys can go back. I've been making content for years, right? I literally thought people that were doing this were crazy. Like I was like, you guys are nuts. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. There's compound. There's this, there's that, there's a coupon. But that's for this many people. That's for this many people. And this many people are sick. Like that's what it comes down to, right? So it's like, that's why people feel that way. And so I think we need to talk about it. I think that we're going to have some episodes about it. We're going to have Dr. Mo talk more about specifically what it is and what you are getting or might be getting or things that you should consider. Like, and I want people in the community to do that as well. Like red flags to consider if you get medicine, what you need to look at when it comes to like one of those certifications, right? We need to have that education and knowledge because we don't want our people getting sicker than they already are, right?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And we do want our people in our community to have community outside of just gray. They should feel just as involved, if not more so, than what we're doing on Plus SideZ and what Amanda is doing, than what Dave is doing, than we're all trying to do in terms of this movement for affordable care for people who have this disease, like this vicious disease.
Well, one thing I want to say to anybody who is gray, you're still part of the GLP-1 community, regardless of how you get your medication or take, or take it. You're still part of the community. We're all on the exact same journey. Yeah. Not all of us take the same dosage. Not all of us take the same medication. Some people are on Ozempic. Some people are on Wegovy. Some, you know, we all take different. We're all going through this together. This same information is helpful to you, whether you mix it yourself or you buy it. we all need to remember that. We're all part of the same community. We're all trying to get to the same place healthy.
Yeah,
That's
healthy.
right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're all trying to focus on, right? Is having like, being here and having the best life that we can have. And I think that we need to understand this. We need people who have credentials. We need to have very specific experience. I've had researchers reach out to me specifically that are willing to come on anonymously. I've had a doctor, Dr. Mo, has said that she will come on the show. If you haven't seen the TikTok, she saw my video and was like, I'll talk about it. Like, I'm not going to go, but I'll talk about it. I was like, okay, let's talk about it. And she was talking about specifically, like she's a board certified in emergency medicine. So she has seen people come in taking peptides in this way from this market many times very sick. Right. And Dr. Mo prescribes compound as well. So I think would be an interesting voice. And she also has struggled with obesity and takes GLP-1. So I think that's important. And then I've had people reach out that are pharmacists that were willing to discuss this anonymously as well. And people just willing to give me information. I've had a peptide company reach out and say, we've got some people, you're right, a lot of people won't talk about it. Like, we've got some people with credentials and we're interested. So we're going to have this conversation. I am going to respect what the gray market community needs, which is for me not to be sharing vendor names, right? But I will be elevating this because I do, like, I'll be honest with you. I know that there are some of you, this is the only way you'd ever do it, but I want you to be on brand name medication for $20 a month. That's what I want for you.
Yes, indeed.
That's what I want. And what I focus on and what I'm trying to focus on, and of course I continue to learn every day, right, is getting you that, and raising my voice for that. But I do want to have education for you. Good for you about new interviews. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael.
I think those will be very interesting and thought-provoking conversations for us to learn and consider, right, as we move forward in this just crazy world. And that's what's coming on season.
And I do want to tease you guys, next week's episode is the premiere of season 5, and it's very, very excited. I'm actually excited to edit the episode because they recorded it. I didn't get to be there for it. So I'm super excited.
We've got some good stuff coming.
Yeah. Awesome episode coming next week.
Yeah, definitely. As a podcast, like what we're focusing on going forward is creating a community for us for the rest of our lives. And to live the best, healthiest us that we can be here on the show. And so we're going to have episodes just like before where we have on a community guest and a doctor, but we've also done a lot of that base work, right? So we're going to have that about half the time. And the other half the time, we're going to talk about food and movement and mental health and fashion. Like, we're going to be talking about so many different things and the mental piece of it, right? Like, we're really going to be providing as much as we can so that you always have a place to go, whether you're losing access to your medicine, whether you've regained weight because of perimenopause. If you're going through perimenopause, we're going to,
oh my goodness,
we have Dr. Kat coming on from, not that cat, Dr. Kat from Winona to talk about menopause and perimenopause and people that are on this journey and where we're at now and like how all these things are working within our body, because education is how we learn to advocate for what we need, right? So that's what we're going to focus on here. And we're so glad to have you be a part of it. Thank you for all your support. Yeah. Always remember, this podcast is a free podcast. Okay. For people that got confused and left me poo-poo reviews.
Poo-poos.
It's just our free. Members just get it early and they get it ad-free listening, our subscribers that pay, and that's what they get. And they get bonus content, but I do not gate knowledge. You get
we provide it to all of you free of charge.
Yeah.
And also, you are not gay. You are GLP-1, my friend.
Yes.
You just buy your medication differently than us. Yeah. You are GLP-1.
Yes. We have a support group this coming Sunday.
What'd you say, Amanda?
We have a support group this Sunday.
Oh, that's great.
It's GLP-1 Collective. First Sunday of every month, we host a support group so that people who don't have a support network, because there are a lot of people who don't even tell their loved ones, their closest loved ones, that they're taking this medication.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a space where they can go share and be seen and heard and understood. So it's totally free. Join us this Sunday.
Yeah, I think Emily made a good point. She was like, I thought gray was research. From my understanding, gray is not always necessarily research. So that's what we're learning. There are many layers to this, many layers to this. I am in market, but won't say publicly. I get that. Yeah.
I
And
totally
you don't, and
understand
if
that.
anybody is
Yeah.
interested in talking to us about this, like just let me know and we'll work it out. Like Amanda has figured out a way to do things anonymously, and like we can have videos where you don't have your face, we change your voice, like, and you
Yeah,
can
I have
share
the
your story.
ability. I have the
Yeah.
software to change all that stuff. We
Yeah.
will.
So
You
we can
come
do-
on, and I promise you,
Yeah.
I will distort you.
I mean, that's
Nobody
what's
will know
I
it's
think
you.
that's what's good. The fact that we're press, right? Like we're media, so we can, we have a certain level of protection for God's sakes, but we want you to be able to speak freely, and we want to be here for you. We really do. And I appreciate anybody that's hung around with me took me so long to figure that out. And I appreciate that.
We've
Okay.
grown. We have definitely grown these last.
Yeah, it's a big growing journey. Dear
hanging out
God.
with us.
I feel like my ego
Yeah.
has died 1,000 times on this journey in the past 2.5 years. Like,
Yes. And
yeah.
I feel like I have publicly processed so much like trauma through for like the last
Yeah.
2 years. It's just incredible.
A lot.
So,
Oh,
right?
Especially on
that
the
We
show.
all have. We all have. Right?
Especially on the show, right?
That reminds me, Kim, I wanted to give you a win in regards to the fact that I have never experienced side effects. The week that I was off of my medication, though, because of that darn colonoscopy, I did eat more than I have eaten in years. Like I thought about bread every day.
Uh-huh.
I was hungry
So
every
much bread.
minute.
And all the carbohydrate
bread,
craving
butter.
came back, huh?
Oh, all of them came back, Kat. It was
Yeah.
like I was looking for a cake.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
Well, you
looking
could have
for
called
a
me.
cake.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I know I could have, and trust
Cat
me,
makes cakes. Heads
it
up.
entered my mind to call you for a Mountain Dew cake.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because I can't rush her to make it in one day.
Funny.
That would be mean.
I remember this like during the shortage of. Oh, thank you, Jamie.
Yes, thank you, Jamie.
Oh,
During-
thank you so
It's
much.
amazing.
I love when we get.
That's-
new
I wish I could
members.
send
we have
hearts.
this new member too. I forgot. I don't know if they're here, but thank you for becoming a member. Thank you
Yes,
so
thank
much
you
for
to
supporting
everybody
the
who
work that
becomes
we
a member.
do.
So, John, I remember during the great shortage of 2023 when everyone had started getting PAs.
Mhm.
There was that month in February where I didn't have my medicine, and I binged like 2 days in a row, and I was like, wait a minute, why am I still craving another row of Oreos? I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like,
Oh yeah, no, I had the roughest time. Kristen, I'm sorry to say it. I do want you to know that not everybody experiences the same thing. There have been people who have gone off of it and not had any problems.
Okay, hear me out though. Like perspective time, okay? Ultimately, this is temporary, right? You're
True.
off your
Yeah.
medicine for a temporary amount of time for your surgery that you need. Pammy Joe's got one coming up too,
mhm.
and it's temporary. You're off for a few weeks. Maybe you gain a little and get some food noise, but in your mind, your medicine's sitting in the fridge.
Yeah. It is.
Right?
Claire was talking about that
Respect.
too.
Yes.
Claire on her
Claire's a
her TikTok. She had a surgery or
she's
something,
great.
right? Yeah. She said,
June 23rd. That's awesome. I
yeah,
love it.
it's an opportunity for you to have some cookies.
I haven't lost enough to get skin off yet. I still got a whole lot of chunky fat down there.
I will say all the bread I ate tasted good.
I
It
bet it
did.
did. You know what,
it-
Kim?
What?
You know what, Kim? At Dr. Angelina's mixer back in January of 2024, I asked her, I pulled her aside. I said, hey, I don't want to get too slim, but I kind of want to get this little part of the fupa cut off. And she said, get down to like a certain BMI and I could do that for you. I was like, what? So you don't have to be, that's it. The panula. Yeah. You don't have to be completely like skin and bones. Like people might think you have to, but Dr. Angelina was like, get down to BMI like 33, 32.
I wear a bodysuit because of the skin, but I still have a lot of fat in the skin, so like mine's not even close. Like mine's like 3 times the size of your fupa. So like, I don't know. I'm doing strength training with Kat. My fupa's shrinking. Okay. Go from research grade talks to fupa talks.
Fupa talk. You know what? There's an extra thing too. You can fall down that rabbit hole on TikTok. Fupa talk.
Is there a fupa talk? How come there's FUPA talk, but we can't say FUPA in the comments or we get a violation? That's stupid.
There's also an alt
Stupid.
TikTok. There's parent issue
Any
TikTok.
talk.
There's
Y'all,
so many.
Swinger
I'm trying to
TikTok.
do it
Somehow I got on
TikTok.
Swinger
Skinny
TikTok.
I want to talk
Somehow
to
I got
Skinny
on
Talk.
Swinger Talk, and I was like, "Get me
I
out."
got on
Swinger
Wicked
Talk.
Talk. I got on Wicked Talk for like a month and had no idea how I got there.
Are you casting spells now? Are you a Wiccan?
I don't. TikTok thought I was for like a month.
Yeah.
John is a wizard.
Your BMI is 31. I think it's my issue is I have like, it's not like how like Amy and
Baby,
Half
I'm
looks with all the
telling you.
skin. I have fat.
Baby, I'm telling you, as a
There's-
person who touches you, a lot more of that is loose and can be removed than you think.
As the person that touches you.
I didn't know.
Personal.
I was trying to say it in a PG way.
There wasn't a way.
Trust me, it wasn't the first
It does
thing
lay
that was
nice
there.
and flat. Yes. I learned
learn to
to
misspell
misspell words to avoid FB
Facebook
police.
police.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
You know, Michael, because of my redneckness, I misspell words all the time. It's one of the most beautiful things.
Oh my
I don't get in trouble for what I write because I probably didn't spell it.
All right, everybody, before we end the night, if you could like the live, I'd appreciate that so much. Just like while we're all right here, so we can have it. It helps
Like
when the
the
replay
live.
comes out.
And
If you
comment
go
if you
to
could,
any of
please.
your platforms where you get your podcasts, please leave us a 5-star review if you like it, if you wish to. You know,
No, I don't care if you like
Spotify,
it. Leave a
Apple,
5-star review.
Google. 5
And
stars.
remember, people, interact with it too. Leave a nice comment.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
work hard to edit these podcasts.
He sure
Takes
does.
a lot of my time. And I'm going to be honest with y'all.
love all the giggles. I
Learning
love it.
how
We
to
do.
use some of this stuff to make it has been mind-numbing even for me.
Well, you've been learning so well, Bear.
I have been, but
You've been doing
man,
That's
such a good
amazing.
job.
I'm
Yeah.
editing my own podcast now, and
Yeah.
I'm dying. I'm
Your friend
dying.
didn't come back yet?
They didn't come back to do it.
Oh no!
So it's on me now, and I when I said I was busy, I meant it.
We got a
I'm
fundraise.
just
Yeah,
desperately trying to get this episode done. This last episode.
I get it. There are a lot of AI tools that'll move out like the ums and stuff.
yeah,
Gotta get my
I
episode.
can give you some advice, Amanda.
There you go.
Don't
Yeah.
try too hard.
On editing? No,
Because
she
I am
meant
trying
you
way
on
too
editing. Don't try too hard.
I am
Honestly,
trying
yeah.
way too hard.
Ours are messy AF. If you watch our first season, like
Mm.
they're awful. Fuck, Kat. Sorry, Dad. Kat didn't
Mine's
even get her
terrible.
mic figured out till season 4.
You know how many
No.
different microphones
Go
I
with it.
purchased and tried? And then
Oh,
realized,
no.
maybe I should move the room.
hmm
Maybe.
Maybe I should
Maybe we
move
should
the
choose the bed.
carpeting and not a hardwood floor.
Indeed. Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah, being scrappy's the
Don't
best
call
part
Kat
of it.
out. Kat calls me out. We're besties. This is what it's fine.
Hey,
You can
we
call me
love
out.
Kat.
I mean, the sound
We
sucked
did the
in
job.
there. And I put
It-
those what you
Yeah.
see behind me, these absorbent things.
Yeah.
I have them all over in my office in the downstairs, but the
No.
wood floor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just too echoey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is much
Welcome to the plus side.
welcome.
Oh, and when you guys first got started, people would use the headset that had the mic hanging down by the heart, and then you'd hear the heart.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that
Well,
one.
we
And then
do need it. I mean, a lot. That was, we did have that on our second episode. That was so hard
My
because that
drive-
was
yeah.
such a freaking good episode. Oh my God, that episode was so good.
I
And
know.
it like
It was.
it just got a heartbeat through the whole thing. We tried
Mm-hmm.
to talk to her, and Tia helped us out. She got a sound engineer to go in there and try to fix it.
Oh,
You
I
just know-
did.
you could
I
hear
did
the
find
heart
a
of
way
our
to
community.
remove the heart, but y'all's voices were so distorted and messed up.
Listen, we don't need
You
to be calling
sounded
out our
like
stuff.
Kermit's.
Jeez.
And that's when I
It
had
was-
my
We should
drive-through
redo that
headset.
episode.
I had to use my drive-through headset. You know
Yeah.
what? That thing had good sound though.
Yeah.
That had very good sound.
All right, friends. Well, we will
Right.
wrap up the live. It's been a long live, but thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Thank you
Learned a
so
lot.
much for our collaboration with
I'm
GLP-1
ready to learn
Collective.
more.
Go follow. Here are our takeaways, friends. These are what we call call to actions. Okay. Call to action 1, go and follow Amanda. And I'm going to put, if you're watching this on after, it's going to be in the notes, in the show notes.
Yep.
on LinkedIn. She needs to get more followers on that account so she can go live. She's bumping. I was going to say bumping and grinding, but that ain't moving and shaking with policy people. She's freaking writing the FDAs and sending them videos and telling them exactly what they need to be doing, because there is precedent that they have done these things before to get more affordable access for everybody. So we want to support her. Okay. Now, next, listen, when it comes to podcasts, we pretty good, like in terms of what we do. This podcast is for people who have metabolic disease. But if you're not going in and making reviews, they're not like recent, we don't get pushed up, which means people are searching GLP-1. If there's not reviews, especially on Apple, we're not going to get pushed up as much. So that means thousands of people that need help and guidance and community are not going to find us. So we need your help. We need you to go to Apple, to Spotify, to anywhere else that you can and do reviews for us, please. And make them awesome. And please don't say that I charge you for this podcast, because I don't.
We don't. It's free information.
People have been saying I should, but I don't, and I won't. So for all those reasons, because we need community, we need to stay together. Okay. It's a long haul, friends. There's no cure for this disease, right? There are only treatments. And let us just hope that our children and our children's children don't have to suffer, right? So that we can fix this shit and get people the access that they need.
And I want to say, anyone who is willing to be researched anonymously, using gray peptides, or even just losing access altogether and not having another plan of action, and you're willing to interview, please reach out, because we're trying to show how widespread this has become so that the FDA wants to take action and give us affordable alternatives in the US, where we don't have to scour the internet and do group buys, where you can just, like Kim said, pay $20 at the pharmacy and take your medicine home.
Yes, you could definitely go back to the beginning. Yes, we talked about lots of stuff, lots of news, lots of things. Definitely go back and watch it. You can watch it. It'll be on demand as soon as we wrap up the live. Thank you. Appreciate all that you do for this community. Well, we appreciate
you, Emily.
Thank you so much for your support and everybody that has come tonight and help us learn about gray, help us get questions answered so we can understand, because ultimately we don't, so we do want to,
Somebody remembered me.
And Bear, we appreciate the work you do. Oh, that's sweet, Samantha. Thank you.
Samantha.
So sweet.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank
We love you guys. Just try to remember, I always tell you, you're not alone. We've got
It's not your fault.
Together. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Okay. And we'll do this. Let's keep getting loud. We cut the price in half once. Let's do it again. Okay. And that's how we do it.
Let's kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
All right. I like it.
And then you got to play your sound effect at the very end for us, Bear.
Oh, the sound effect.
For
Okay,
Bear.
and-
Blue.
Blue, you're my boy.
Bear, you're my
Blue,
boy.
you're my boy.
Yes.
Oh, Bear, you have got too much time on your hands, dear. But I love you as the person that touches you.
It's what the audio people do. I love playing with audio.
All right, fireworks before we go. Hopefully the double fireworks. Woo!
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I need a better
Fireworks
equalizer
happen.
so I can do more sound effects. I need one with more buttons.
All right, guys. Hey, listen. For my gray people, please let gray people know we're looking to do this, and we need information if they're willing to do things in open or anonymous. Either one is fine.
Yep.
Right. And tell them about the podcast, because clearly, a lot of them maybe don't have doctors looking after them that know they're on this medicine for all those things we mentioned. Right. So we have doctors here, right? We have doctors that we talk all about side effect management and what's going on with your body and the mental stuff and all of that. So just let them know they can come here and get that, because that's important. Okay.
Yep.
And we love you. We love you. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. All right.
2 and 2.
Hasta la pasta.
Bye.
And let's
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus SideZ Podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro, Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus SideZ Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.